Welcome back to the channel. I just want to say thank you to all my new subscribers. I genuinely appreciate it. I see I have quite a few. I know I do that every video, but every time I make a video, in between those two videos, I get a buttload of subscribers. So I just want to say thank you before we kick any of this off. The last video I made, I did a cost breakdown for Bangkok, Thailand. I did a $1,000, $2,000, and $3,000 budget of what it would cost to live here on those budgets every month. What I didn't cover in that video was the actual startup cost. Now, what does that mean? That means everything that you are gonna have to pay when you first move here. You know, furnishing an apartment, getting your visa stuff sorted out, buying all the miscellaneous odds and ends. And with all of that, there is a kind of giant learning curve, with just shopping and spending money here in Bangkok in the beginning, because if you're not from here, if you're not a local, then you're not really gonna know how to save money. You're just gonna go and purchase and buy, what you think is a good deal. And even though you think it's a good deal, you rest assured you can get it cheaper. You can always get things cheaper here in Bangkok. You just have to know the ropes, and you kind of have to know the right people, and you have to know where to shop. So in today's video, I want to break down all of that, as well as the initial startup cost, how much it takes to get into an apartment, what you're going to spend on food, clothing, rent, all of those things for the first 30 days here in Bangkok. Because that's one of the main questions I get here on this channel is, how much did it cost to get started up? How much did it cost to move into the apartment? How much did it cost to furnish the apartment? How much did it cost to buy, all of the initial things you need when you first move here to Bangkok? So first, let's talk about visa costs. Let's talk about visa before we even talk about rent or housing or any of that. So this is usually probably the first thing you need to sort out before you arrive. And there's a bunch of different options. Now, I'm not gonna go too hard on the visa section in this video, because I'm gonna do a whole separate video on all of the different types of visas, how you obtain them, how long they last, how much they cost, what kind of paperwork you have to fill out for them. And honestly, that video, the research for that video is taking a little bit longer than anticipated. I was gonna put that video out today, but there's so much involved with the visa process. I wanna go and speak to a couple of different agencies, maybe the visa people, the immigration, just so I can give you guys the right information. A lot of people come on here and just run their mouth about the visas, and all they do is a quick Google search. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of the information, because the crazy thing with visas here is they're constantly changing. Like the whole visa situation here, the laws are changing. One week it's one way, the next week it's another. So I want to give you guys the most up-to-date information when it comes to the visas. So in this kind of section, I'm just going to skim over the visas, because really we're only looking at startup costs in this video. So the first most common type of visa is called a tourist visa. You can usually get one for $40 to $60 at your local Thai consulate, and it will allow you to stay in Thailand up to 60 days. If you want to extend it, there's an additional fee of about $60. Now, that's what I'm on. I'm on the visa exempt, pretty much tourist visa, visa exempt. When you first come through the airport, you go to immigration. If you're American, or that you have a certain passport, they'll stamp your passport, and you get 60 days in the country. Now, you can get that passport extended up to 90 days for, I don't know, I think it's about 1,000 baht or so is what it costs, which is about 34 American US dollars. Now, you can get that extended up to 90 days. Now, after 90 days, you have to leave the country, and then you can only come back in with the proper visa. I mean, you could try and sneak back in under another visa exempt tourist visa, but you can only do that so many times before they look and they're like, okay, buddy, you need to get your shit figured out. For those planning to stay longer, an educational visa is another popular choice. It costs around $200 initially, and you'll need to enroll in a language school or some kind of educational program to kind of keep the visa going. And there's also renewal fees with this every month, and other fees that occur with the educational visa. If you're moving here for work, you'll need a work visa or a work permit, and your employer will usually cover most of them. Now, what does that mean? Usually for people that are moving here on a work visa, they already have an employer here in Thailand that's going to do all the paperwork for them, file the necessary paperwork with immigration, all that, so that you can stay in the country and work for their company. Now, Something I recently found out is Americans Americans are the only foreigners that are allowed to own their businesses 100% here in Thailand. Nobody else can do it but us Americans, which I think is pretty cool. It's gonna help me out a lot because I have a couple of business ideas that I'm gonna start. Finally, there's the retirement visa, and that's for those who are over 50, which require proof of income and savings and can cost several $100s, including renewals and health insurance requirements. On top of that, some people use visa agents to make the process easier, but this can add, 100 to 500 to up to 1,000 bahts to just for the agent fees before you even get into like the visa fees and all of that stuff. Also, you need to factor in potential travel costs associated with the visas, because sometimes you're gonna have to leave the country to do a visa run. You're gonna have to go to a bordering country, stay there for 3, 4, 5 days, reapply for your visa, and then re-enter the country on your updated visa. I know that sounds like a big hassle, but I'm gonna use that as an opportunity just to go to another country and film content before I can, get back into the country. Like I said, I'm gonna get into the visa situation and do a whole complete breakdown on that. This is just like, the little costs that are involved with the visas. Honestly, the visa process is arduous, and that's what a lot of people complain about Thailand, especially the expats. I'm tired of the visa situation, it's always changing. Listen, a lot of expats come over here and they just get a shitty attitude after a while. I've already seen it. I've already talked to a few and run into a few of them, but I think that's a topic for a completely different video about the whole sour expat community that lives here. Next, let's move on to housing deposits and rent, and what you can expect to pay for your initial startup moving into a condo here in Bangkok. Now, this is usually your biggest expense when you first move here. Like your first 30 days, finding housing and getting all of that figured out, that's gonna be your biggest expense. Bangkok landlords typically require a deposit equal to 2 months rent. So first and last months plus security, which in the United States and everywhere else, I think that's pretty much standard, to be honest with you. Now, for example, if you're renting an apartment that's $700 a month, which is almost basically my rent, you will need 1 month, and you'll need about $2,100 to move in total. And that's for like a $700 a month apartment. Anywhere it goes up from that, you can just multiply and kind of do the math yourself. For those with a tighter budget, you can find small studios in the suburbs for around 300 or 400 bahts. $300 or $400 a month. On the other hand, if you want a luxury condo in a central location with a pool, gym, and other amenities, you're looking at about $1,000 or more a month for an apartment. Now, I got lucky. I found an apartment for $733 here. A lot of people leave me comments in the comment section saying I'm getting ripped off or I'm living in a tiny little shoebox and blah, 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 blah. But listen, let me show you guys the room that I'm sitting in right now. So when people talk shit about the building that I live in and they tell me I'm living in a dorm room and I'm getting overcharged for my apartment and all that other shit, listen, take a look at the room that I'm in right now. Okay? Let's go ahead and start here. Floor to ceiling windows that go up, 15 or 20 feet. You've got a 360 panoramic view of the city. I'm on the 41st floor. Oh yeah, and look at this. This is a fucking glass floor that I am terrified to fucking walk on. And you can see people down here in the pool below me. And we get a view of the whole entire city. Tell me where in America or anywhere else you can get a condo in a building like this for $700. So for all of you naysayers and all of the haters that want to pop into my comments and talk all kinds of crazy shit about my condo and this, that, and the other, dude, look how I'm living. Look how I'm living. Okay? I would rather live here and get ripped off for $700 a month than live in any apartment complex in the United States for $700 a month. So, haters can kiss my arse. Anyway, let's get back to the living. One tip, always ask what's included in the rent. Some places cover water, basic internet, maintenance fees. Yeah, one tip, let's get back to that. One tip, always ask what's included with the rent, because some condos will charge, you know, all these little miscellaneous fees that you aren't even really aware of, and it can kind of build up, and then when you get your bill at the end of the month, you're gonna be like, what the is this? You know, so I'm actually paying city rates for electricity. Now, some buildings make you pay their rates, which I think is kind of crazy, and they'll go ahead and add on like 10 or 15 baht. I just happen to be paying city rates for the electricity, and I think that's probably a good deal anywhere you go, is to just go ahead and see if you are paying the building rates or you're paying the city rates. That's going to affect your budget a lot every month. I think it's also worth mentioning that Bangkok has like a huge variety of housing options. So you can definitely find something to fit your budget. Just remember to budget for upfront costs. And you know, honestly, those can add up quite quickly. The next thing I want to talk about is utility costs and setup. Now, once you've got your apartment, you'll need to set up utilities. The good news is the utilities in Bangkok are relatively affordable, but there are a few initial costs to kind of keep in mind. Now, electricity bills can vary widely depending on how much you use the air conditioning, but if you're conservative, your bill might be as low as $50 a month. But if you're blasting the AC 24/7, especially during the hot season, it can go up to like $100 or more. Now, we're talking about just for electricity. Water is cheap, usually costs around $10 to $15 a month. Setting up high-speed internet typically involves a one-time installation fee of about $30 to $50, and then monthly fees of $15 to $30. Now, when I got my internet service, my landlord kind of just suggested I go with AIS, and she sent me, you know, a big kind of panel, and it's like, okay, pick out which internet speed you want and pick out the monthly rate you want to pay. I picked out a plan kind of towards the higher end of it, which is like, I think I paid 1,000 bahts for the initial installation, which is like $30, and I think I pay 800 baht a month, which is just under $30. Now, I have a calculator in front of me, so I'm gonna start doing all of my math while I'm talking on these videos. I'm gonna start doing the conversion here on the calculator, because I get absolutely fried in the comment section when I get the math wrong. So 800 baht is approximately $23.23 is what I pay every month for my internet. Now, don't forget about your phone SIM plan. Thailand, the phone system here is super affordable. International calling is gonna be a little bit more, but getting set up on a phone plan will probably cost you about $50 for the initial startup. You got to buy the SIM card. I went through AIS. It's the same company that I have my internet through, so I can just kind of pay my bill on the app when I do that every month. I pay what do I pay? I think I pay about 650 baht a month for my phone bill. Let me see what that is. I pay $18.88 a month, which is 650 bahts for my phone bill, and I get unlimited everything. So I get unlimited data, I get unlimited calling, there's no cap on the data, and my phone, my cell reception, I've never lost cell reception anywhere I've been here in Bangkok, except for the elevator, that when you go up and down, that's when you lose your cell service. But I get excellent service everywhere here in the city with AIS. Like I said, it's $18.88 a month. Full coverage. You're gonna have to pay extra if you wanna make phone calls to the US or whatever country you're from, but a little way to get around that is if you have an iPhone and the other person has an iPhone, you can do FaceTime calling, and that just uses the internet service. Or you can set up like a Google Voice number, and you can use that for international calling. Relatively inexpensive. So next section I want to talk about is furniture and essentials. Now, some apartments in Bangkok come fully furnished, but if yours doesn't, you'll need to budget for furniture and basic household items. Now, the apartment I moved into came fully furnished. Couch, kitchen table with 2 chairs. It came with a bed with a brand new mattress on it, 2 tables in the bedroom, and it came with a 60-inch Samsung smart TV in the living room. So I didn't have to buy anything. All I had to buy was plates and dishes, paper towels, toilet paper, soap, razors, all of the home good stuff that, you know, they don't actually provide for you. They did provide silverware and 2 plates, 2 bowls, and 2 cups. That all looked like it was brand new when I moved in. Now, I don't know if that's typical with every apartment here in Thailand, but I know a lot of the condos here in Bangkok, they'll just come fully furnished like that, so you don't really have to worry about anything. But the things that you do have to worry about are, well, okay, well, let's run a scenario where you move into an apartment and it isn't furnished. Now, you're probably going to spend around $300 to $500 here for home furnishings. Now, here, as opposed to the United States, things are super cheap. So like a 55-inch TV is like, I don't know, $150, $200, which I don't know, if you go to Walmart back home, I guess you can get one for a couple $100. They have IKEA, they have something called Home Pro here, which is like, I don't know what I can compare it to in the US. Maybe Home Goods, like US Home Goods. Like you go in there and they have pretty much everything for the house. Throw rugs, lamps, tables, chairs, you know, pictures you can hang on the wall, you know, all the home furnishing stuff you can do. There's also Facebook Marketplace here. You can buy things secondhand. They have multiple big kind of giant secondhand malls that I've been to that you can buy all the home furnishings you need in there for relatively inexpensive. There's so much, like, listen, goods and services here in Bangkok, it's, you know, it's not like back home where everything is, what do they call it? They create, back home, it's all marketing back home. They create, there's abundance, and then there's whatever the opposite of abundance is. I can't fucking think right now. But scarcity, there it is, Jesus H. They create scarcity and they control the supply of everything to keep the cost, to keep the profit margin up for the large companies that own all of the import-export businesses. But when you get over here to Thailand or anywhere in Southeast Asia, the price of goods and services just plummets all the way down to almost near zero. Oh yeah, you'll also need to stock up on like kitchenware, towels, cleaning supplies. That can add like another 100 or 200 baht. If you're going all out. Now, what's 100 or 200 baht? Let's run that back on the calculator. 200 baht is approximately $5. $5.81 for like cleaning supplies and everything. So it's under $10 you're gonna spend for all of your cleaning supplies and everything you're gonna need for your apartment. It's just, it's absolutely relatively, it's a joke. Transportation. Let's talk about transportation for a second. Now, getting around Bangkok is incredibly easy and affordable. They have something called the MRT, which is the, now I might get these wrong, I haven't memorized them yet, but I believe the MRT is the subway system that runs below ground, and the BTS is the, yes, no, I'm right here, I'm not reading my notes. Let me read my notes. So public transportation like BTS, SkyTrain, and MRT subway is a great option. Fares range from 50 cents to $2.50 per ride, maximum. And you can get a prepaid rabbit card for around $5 if you're commuting daily. Budget about $30 to $50 per month for public transportation. Now, public transportation here in Bangkok is clean, it's quiet, it's affordable. You know, it's not like riding the subway in New York where you have, you know, mentally ill homeless people attacking passengers with hatchets and setting people on fire, and just, you know, all of the crazy shit that you see come out of New York, the New York public transportation system. You don't get that here in Bangkok. You know, the culture here in Southeast Asia is, nobody here wants to inconvenience anyone else in society because that makes you look bad as a person. And saving face and, you know, like presenting yourself a certain way in public is a very, very large part of Thai culture and just culture period here in Southeast Asia. Now, you're not going to get people on the subway here listening to loud music, screaming and rapping and jumping around and acting like fucking idiots. Listen, I was on a packed MRT train the other day, and I'm literally shoulder to shoulder with people like this. I mean, it's like those videos you see where everybody's packing on the MRT and you're like this, and you could hear a mouse piss on cotton in that goddamn thing. I mean, listen, you could hear a pin drop in that subway cart. Everybody was just talking very, very low. If they were talking, they were speaking low amongst each other. People were just quiet, looking at their phones. When the doors opened, everybody kind of makes room for people to get off. People are like really respectable, and I'm just not used to that in public, because in public in the United States, that's where all of the stuff happens. Like if you go somewhere, people are shoving, people are cursing everybody out, there's fist fights, a shooting can break out and people can get, you know, maimed, killed, or injured. Anywhere you go in public in the United States, you're gonna have issues, you know, just like I was saying. Another aspect of transportation here in Bangkok are motorbike taxis, and so motorbike taxis are another popular option for short trips, costing around $1 to $3 a ride. Now, ride these motorbikes at your own peril. I know a lot of people say, oh, it's safe, the motorbike, the Grab motorbike drivers here are part of the top 0.001% of all drivers in Thailand, and they know the roads and blah, 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 blah. Listen, driving here is dangerous, period. Like driving in Bangkok or in Thailand is one of the most dangerous activities you could ever do while you're here. More lives are lost here on the roads in Thailand than anywhere else in the entire world. I think besides India. There's more fatalities here on the highways than anywhere else on the planet. I think just between October and November of last year, there were like 890 fatalities on the road. In 1 month, almost 1,000 people died here in traffic accidents. So, ride the motorbikes at your own peril. They're cheap and they weave in and out of traffic, you know, whereas if you were sitting in a taxi, the drive would probably take over an hour, maybe hour and a half, but if you're on a motorbike, you'll get there in 5 or 10 minutes, if you get there at all. If you plan to rent a motorbike for yourself and you want to take your chances, not sitting on the back of an experienced rider's motorbike, but you actually want to jump on one and take to the streets yourself, expect to pay about $60 to $100 per month, plus deposit of about $100 or $200. Now, like I said, ride them at your own peril. I personally am probably never gonna get on a motorbike ever again while I'm here in Thailand. I just had a bad experience my first time and I don't really wanna take the risk. We didn't talk about Grab. So Grab, and they have Grab and Bolt here. Now Grab is like Uber, Bolt is like Lyft. They're convenient, but they can be pricier, especially during peak hours. I'd recommend keeping Bolt and Grab rides for special occasions or when you really need to get somewhere, or if you just don't feel like messing around with public transportation, like if it's too hot or if you're just aggravated that day. I know Americans, and especially, you know, us coming from the West, we don't really like to be inconvenienced that much, and we will, you know, spend the extra money or kind of go out of our way if we can avoid any inconvenience. And what I've noticed about the Thai people is they don't mind being inconvenienced. We know they live, I know this is gonna be bad to say, but the Thais here, they just live inconvenient lives, unfortunately. Like every aspect of their life is kind of, it's a lot different from ours, you know, coming over here from the West, you know, because of the money that we have. So let's jump on to the next section. That's gonna be your initial food and groceries. Now, your first grocery run will likely be one of your biggest food-related expenses. Stocking up on essentials like rice, noodles, spices, and condiments is probably gonna run you between $50 and $100 US. Now, that's if you plan on cooking at home every day, but the food here is so affordable that honestly, eating out every day, 3 times a day here is probably the same as buying groceries back in the US for, I don't know, say a week or 2 weeks. So if you go to Walmart or you go to Publix or you go to Kroger or wherever you shop at in the US and you buy, say, a month's worth of groceries, that price you're gonna pay for a month's worth of groceries in the US, you can eat out every single day here in Thailand for that budget. But for daily meals, Bangkok street food is basically unbeatable in price and flavor. I've eaten some of the best food I've ever tasted in my life from, you know, some old lady standing out here in the corner in Thailand selling food. Now, you can get delicious dishes like pad thai or sam tam. If you prefer, like I said, $1 to $3. If you prefer mid-range restaurants like, I don't know, like the Cheesecake Factory back home, or say, I don't know, whatever restaurants I can convert it to, like your local ale house or whatever you go to, you can expect to pay $5 or $10 per meal each. So kind of factor that into your budget as you go on. Cooking at home, like I said, it's just the most affordable option is to just shop at local markets. If you're really on a tight budget, you can eat really well here. You're just gonna have to go out to the market, buy the food, bring it home, and cook it yourself if that's, you know, something you don't mind doing. The next section I want to talk about is unexpected costs and emergency funds. Now, one expense people often overlook is health insurance. Now, depending on the coverage, it can start at $50 per month, and just for basic plans, I'd also recommend setting aside some money for minor emergencies, like a doctor's visit, replacing a phone charger. You might lose your wallet, you might lose your passport, and like I said, there's going to be a big learning curve here when it comes to the money that you're spending on a day-to-day basis. You're gonna start out just spending kind of a lot of money because you don't know the lay of the land, you don't know all the kind of cheap spots to eat, the cheap spots to shop at, none of those things. So initially, kind of just budget for that. Budget for spending, an extra $200 to $300 a month before you can kind of get things figured out, to kind of, where you can get things, cheap and affordable. Banking fees. Now, banking fees can catch you off guard here. Some international cards charge a hefty ATM fee, so it's worth opening a local Thai bank account to save money in the long run. I suggest having at least $500 as an emergency fund for peace of mind. Now, they have currency exchanges you can go to here where if you have physical US currency, you can change it over. Every time I go to an ATM here, the ATM charges me about $6 US to change over the currency, and then my bank charges me about $3 US. So I pay about $10 US every time I go to an ATM here to take out money. Now, I know that's gonna be steep, but the good thing here with the exchange rate is, let's say your bank only allows you to take out 1,000 US dollars a day, or 500 US dollars a day. Now, what is 500 US dollars? I'm sorry, let's do the math. I'm doing a calculator here because I don't want to get crucified anymore. So 500 US dollars is 17,215 baht. Now, 17,000 bahts here is a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That you can survive on an entire month on 17,000 baht if that's just your expenses and all the food and all the other shit that you're moving around and doing. So you'd only really have to go to the ATM once or twice a month, because you can take out, like, I don't know, I think the other day I took out like 30,000 baht, and let's see what that is. I took out 30,000 baht the other day, which was like 871 US dollars. And I can do that one time at the ATM. I don't have to do it in like ATMs back home, they only let you take out $200 at a time per transaction because they want to keep hitting you with those fees. So let's say I need $600 and I go to an ATM. Unless you're going to an ATM at a bank branch where you bank at, a lot of those ATMs are going to hit you for those fees 3 times, and you're going to pay like $3, $6, $9, $12 or something like that to pay $600 to remove $600 out of the ATM. But here, you can hit the ATM once, pay the $10 fee, and take out like 20,000 baht, which is going to last you for the entire month. At least that's what I do. Expenses. So let's add that all up. For visas, housing deposits, furniture, and other essentials, your first month's expenses in Bangkok could range from $3,000 to $5,000. Now, this depends on your lifestyle and how much you're willing to spend up front. So I think $3,000 to $5,000 just to move here from a different country and to get all set up, apartment, utilities, to furnish your house, to buy everything you need for the condo, figure out the transportation, everything. We're talking $3,000 to $5,000. The good news is, once you're settled in, the monthly costs are much more manageable. Bangkok offers an incredible value for your money, and you can adjust your lifestyle pretty much for any budget. Now, my initial startup costs when moving here to Bangkok were roughly, I don't know, I think I've spent so far, I got a calculator in front of me, let's do the math. To move into my apartment, it cost me 75,000 baht, which was $2,178. Okay, now what else did I spend money on? My visa, I haven't even done a visa run yet, or I haven't done any kind of visa stuff yet, so that's coming up here in the next month. So I haven't really spent any money on the visa situation. But to move into my apartment, I spent, like, on home furnishings, toilet paper, all that stuff, I spent around, I think between 2,000 and 3,000 baht. So let's add that. Now we're at $2,265. I paid 1,000 baht to get my electricity turned on, so let's go ahead and add that up. Now we're at $2,294. What else did I have to pay? I'm trying to calculate all of my initial costs and see, you know, how much that fell in line here. You know what? I haven't even calculated travel. I haven't really been keeping track of how much I've been paying for travel. I just spend. So I'm gonna say I've spent maybe, I don't know, another, let's say $300 since I've been here in the past month on travel, which takes us to $2,594. I spent, when I went to Phuket, when I first got here, I spent a week in Bangkok. I stayed in a hotel on Khao San Road for like, I don't know, I think it was $250. So let's just go ahead and add that. It was $250 for the entire week for like 7 days, so that was actually pretty cheap. Now we're at $2,844. I then flew from Bangkok to southern Thailand to Phuket, and I stayed there for 7 days. I remember that hotel cost me $340 for the entire week. So now we're at $3,184. And then I spent while in Phuket, not including the cost of the hotel, I spent 20,000 baht. Now that's kind of a lot, but it was my first real vacation I've had in years and years. And I was a tourist, so I was paying tourist prices for everything. I was eating at the nicest restaurants. I was buying cannabis, which was, you know, costing me between $30 and $40 every 2 days. But I spent about 20,000 baht. Shiza. That's $580 plus I just cleared out everything on the calculator that I was calculating. Nice. So let's say, what was I at, like 2,380. Let's go ahead and add that. Plus 2,381. So now we're at about $2,961. So my initial cost moving here, and that's moving into an apartment that's getting fully furnished. I took a week vacation since I've been here. Like I said, and that was airfare, a week in the hotel, and then I spent another 20,000 baht on top of that, like $580. And I've been here a month, and I've done, like I said, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but I got an apartment, got the apartment furnished. I took 2 vacations. I've been eating out 3 times a day. I've been pretty much going crazy. I've been buying clothes. I've been going out and kind of hanging out at night. I'm not a real big drinker, so when I go out and drink at night, I'll probably have, you know, 2 or 3 beers, and I've spent less than $4,000 since I've been here, and that's, you know, like I said, that's everything included. So initial startup cost, $3,000 to $5,000, and that's moving here from a different country. So I really hope this video helps you plan your move to Bangkok. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Or if you have any questions, leave them down below in the comment section. I would love to hear from you and get back to and answer all of your questions to the best of my ability. Plenty of videos like this to come in the future, as I'm discovering more ways to make and save money here in Thailand. I think that's gonna about do it for this video. If I didn't cover anything or you have any questions, please let me know. And yeah, I guess I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.